16 tips that I wish I knew when I first started playing Clash Mini. I know the game was just released yesterday today, but I've actually had my hands on it for a while. We're gonna start off with some tips on how to progress as fast as possible, and there is a correct way. Then I'm gonna give you my foolproof tips to win more matches. My first tip is to complete all of your quests as fast as possible to boost your early game progression and get ahead of your friends. Now this sounds really obvious, but there's actually a hidden reason that you might not be aware of as to why you want to do all of your quests at least on day number 1. Every single day you will get 7 daily quests. If you don't do them, you'll miss out on rewards, which is a big reason for this first tip. But the second major reason for this first tip is actually for your mini quests. Now this might actually sound really obvious, but there's a big reason why completing all of your quests, especially at the beginning of your progress, will actually help get you ahead of your friends. Every day you'll be given 7 daily quests, okay? And these quests will stay with you until you complete them, or you can actually re-roll them once a day. If you don't do all 7 of them before this timer reaches 0, you will miss out on a lot of big rewards. This is the first reason this is my first tip. But the second major reason is actually because of these mini quests right here. You see, whenever you unlock a new mini, you will actually get a quest specific to that mini. The first quest you get will be to just win 1 match, and that will actually reward you with a carrot, which will help you progress in your adventure. And that's actually the majority of where your rewards come from. But after you complete that first quest with that new mini, you'll actually get another one like this barbarian one where you win 3 matches using it to get 30 gold. And gold is really important for you to actually upgrade your heroes. Plus you can use it to buy more minis, but I'm not actually convinced that's the best way for you to spend your gold. But what we really care about is the quest that comes after you win those 3 matches. You'll get a quest like this one or this one where if you win 5 matches with your new mini, you'll actually get a mini box. And inside that box will be a new mini for you. Now unlocking the same mini from one that you already own will actually help you upgrade them so that they can unlock new abilities and become stronger in battle. But if you get a new mini that you haven't unlocked yet, guess what? You'll get another quest for them, so you can actually beat those quests and then unlock more minis and unlock more quests and unlock more minis, and the cycle continues and continues, at least until you stop unlocking new minis. But along the way, you'll get tons of gold, you'll get carrots for progressing through a lot of season rewards, and you'll unlock stronger and newer minis for your deck. And if you complete all of your quests as fast as you get them, you're gonna progress a lot faster than anybody else. Now my second big tip is for you to choose your starter hero very carefully, if you haven't chosen them already. When you first play Clash Mini, you'll have to choose between the Barbarian King, Archer Queen, and the Shield Maiden as your starter hero. This choice doesn't make a big impact in the long run, but it makes a huge difference in the beginning, which can actually make a difference in the long run. And the reason why is because you'll actually get quests specific to your starter hero, which will give you tons of hero fragments, which are used along with gold to upgrade your hero, and are actually pretty difficult to get a hold of if you don't plan on spending some money. So even though you'll unlock different heroes as you progress, your starter hero will be the strongest for a long time. And although upgrading minis outside of battle only unlocks the potential for them to be stronger in battle, any upgrades to your heroes are permanent in any match that you play them in. So as long as you upgrade your heroes, their HP increases, their attack speed increases, and some of their heroes actually have super abilities that start to require less energy, which are all really big buffs to your heroes and will make it easier for you to win your matches. Now you might be asking, which is the best starter hero? To be completely honest, I actually think that the Shield Maiden is the strongest out of the 3 starter heroes. She's the easiest to build a deck around, she works with more minis than the other 2, and her super is crazy good in pretty much any situation. I do think the Barbarian King and the Archer Queen definitely have their place, but the Shield Maiden is my recommendation, and it's what I started with on day number 1. I'll actually compare all of the heroes in a future video, so make sure you guys subscribe for that. Now my third tip to boost progression is to use all of your challenge coins every single day. Now every day in the shop you'll get 25 free challenge coins, okay? Now one thing that you'll actually notice here though is that once you reach 99, you cannot get any more. Oh yeah, there you go. You can only have 99 saved up. Now, you can actually spend gold and gems on them as well, but I don't think that's actually efficient to use until much later in the game. Now challenge coins are used to play ranked matches, and you cannot gain trophies without them. You can play casual matches without them, where you actually don't lose any trophies, but you also actually won't gain any gold either. And that's why you'll want to use all of your challenge coins, because whether you win or lose, you'll always earn gold for completing a ranked challenge. And like I said, you can only have 99 stored up, so that's a maximum of 4 days worth of save of games before you actually have to use them. Then my fourth tip is that you can actually purposefully lose ranked matches if you don't have the time to use all your challenge coins and you just want some spare gold. Losses give you about half of the gold as wins do, but they'll at least give you some gold, which might be better than missing out on an opportunity to get some free gold. All you do is you just start a match, let it play while they actually crush you because you don't have to place anything or anything like that. You come back later and you'll have a little bit of gold. But my fifth tip might actually not make you want to follow my fourth tip. And that's because you want to win ranked matches for a few reasons. First of all, like I said, you get more gold for wins than you do for losses. And second, higher leagues actually give you more gold for wins and losses than lower leagues do. And you can only reach higher leagues by winning ranked matches. Now, third, if you win 3 or more matches in a row, you'll actually get a win streak, which means that you'll get a free challenge coin for each match, so long as you maintain that winning streak. And then the obvious fourth reason why you want to win is because winning is more fun than losing. Now, my sixth tip is to play casual matches for quests. Specifically for quests that require you to play minis that aren't leveled up very high, or that don't work very well for your deck, or that you're unfamiliar with, or that you just plain think that are bad. Winning or losing casual matches does not matter at all when it comes to your actual trophy score, which actually makes it a great way for you to complete your quests without risking any trophies. You can also play casual mode when you're trying to find the right deck and you want to try something new and you're just wanting to mess around, or if you've run out of challenge coins and you want to keep playing. Now, my seventh tip is to do duels instead of rumbles if you're actually serious about progression. Personally, I find rumbles actually way more fun and exciting. They're really good, and that's one of my favorite parts of the game. But duels are fun too, and there's a big reason why I suggest them over rumbles. In duels, there is a 1 in 2 shot of you winning your match and building up a win streak, which will result in you saving your challenge coins, being able to progress further up the ladder, gain more trophies, and gain more gold. In rumbles, there's a 1 in 8 chance that you will actually build up a win streak because only first place counts. So unless you're incredibly over leveled or you're over skilled for your trophy count, it's better for you to play duels most of the time. Now, if you are over leveled or over skilled, all of a sudden, rumbles actually are the best way for you to spend your challenge coins because first place gives you more trophies and gold in a rumble than a duel. But for most people, duels are going to be the way to go pretty much all the time unless you just want to have some fun. And now that we've covered 7 progression tips, I want to cover all of my tips to help you actually win more matches in Clash Mini. My 8th tip is to understand the difference between super abilities, Clash abilities, boast abilities, and all the other types of abilities. Every hero has 3 abilities. At level 1, they have a super. Then they gain an additional ability at level 5 and also at level 10. Meanwhile, every mini has 4 abilities. They have 1 at 0 stars, plus an additional one for 1, 2, and 3 stars. Now, Clash abilities activate at the beginning of a match, like the Spear Goblin's ability. And then some of them are supers, which actually require energy before they will activate. A hero gains 1 energy every time they hit an enemy, or get hit by an enemy, regardless of how much damage is dealt. The Shield Maiden super gives her a shield that reflects damage back to her attackers, but it has to charge up first. Then we have another common ability called Boast that activates if a specific unit kills the enemy target. The Archer Queen has a Boast ability at level 10 that adds 1 additional damage to her attack after she kills an enemy, which just so happens to double her damage. The Knight has a block ability that reduces incoming damage by 1 for some time, which is actually super helpful because most of the heroes and minis only deal 1 damage per attack, which means that he becomes immune to their attacks. Then we have the Giant Skeleton that has a knockout ability, which only activates after he dies. And honestly, there are just a ton of different abilities, and I'm planning on showing all of them in a future video, but until then, you'll have to deal with my next tip. And that is to hold your finger on a mini if you want to know what their abilities are in the middle of battle. You can do this on your own minis as well as your enemy minis, which is especially important to do when facing a mini that you've never faced before. But one thing you should absolutely pay attention to when you're about to make an upgrade is before you drop it, you'll actually see abilities that it might have when it gets upgraded. Plus, you'll see any stat boost that it gets for upgrading its star level. This is actually currently the only way to see which stats get buffed when a mini gets upgraded mid-battle, but to be fair, I actually think that they only get HP buffs aside from gaining new abilities, although I could be wrong, I haven't checked all of them yet. Now, my 10th tip is that most of the time it's better to get a new mini on the board than it is to upgrade a mini that's currently on the board. There are exceptions to this, especially if a certain ability will counter your opponent, whereas if you put a new mini on the board, they'll be able to tank damage, they'll deal more damage, they'll also have board control, plus have some sort of special ability that will also help in the middle of battle, which is exactly why I like to get all 5 of my minis in my deck on the field typically before I start upgrading them. Now, my 11th tip is to not save elixir. Any elixir that you do not spend on one round does carry over to future rounds, and you can actually store up to 20 elixir, although I can't imagine why you would want to actually do that. But you actually don't lose any elixir for selling troops, which means that you should spend every drop of elixir that you can rather than saving it for a specific troop in your deck. And my 12th tip is to always place down troops from your opening hand before rotating to your second hand, even if your first hand isn't ideal. The reason for this is you might actually have an even worse second hand if you rotate. And by placing troops down on your first hand, if you find a better troop in your second hand, you can actually sell whatever you bought, get your elixir back, and then spend it on your second hand. I actually often do this when I'm trying to find troops that are particularly good for the first round, like the Spear Goblin. My 3rd tip is to always change your troop placement each round. Between rounds, you can see where your opponent placed their troops for the last round, and they can see where you put yours too. So it's almost always a good idea for you to switch up your formation. A really brainless way to do this is to just move every troop over one column. Maybe you move one troop to the left, maybe you move another to the right? It's better to put more thought into it, obviously, because placement does really matter in this game. But sometimes you don't have enough time to think about where you're going to move them, so I just like throw some things around all over the place, which is faster than having to actually think about it. My 14th tip is to adapt to whichever minis your opponent has. If your opponent has a Spear Goblin, always place some sort of a tank in front of your long-range damage dealers. If they have a Magic Archer or a Wizard, make sure you spread your minis so they don't take splash damage. As you play more and more, you'll get better at countering different troops, but like I said, placement does matter, so think about what you can do to counter your enemy beyond just upgrading your minis, because upgrading your minis is only one part of the game. My 15th tip is to use special tiles to predict your opponent's placements. Certain special tiles become available as you reach higher trophy counts. At 100 trophies, a healing star will heal units placed on it 1 HP every 2 seconds for a while. You can expect the enemy's going to place tanks on here, so you can respond with a troop like a bowler to push them back so you can focus on minis with less HP. Also at 100 trophies, you'll get access to the Supercharger tile. Units that are placed on this will gain 6 energy at the start of battle, and this is only useful for minis that actually have some sort of a super ability. So likely this is going to be where your opponent will place their hero, though they might have another mini with a super as well, so keep that in mind. At 400 trophies, you'll gain access to the Magic Mirror tile. Units that are placed on this will get duplicated, but both their original and their duplicate will start the match with 60% less health. This is especially useful with troops that have clash abilities, because both the original and the copy will activate their ability at the start of the match. My 16th tip is to balance how elixir heavy your deck is. In any match, the maximum elixir you will ever have is 30. This is true if you make it to the finals in a rumble, and it's also true if you go 2-2 in a duel. And it's also true if you get 2 wins and 2 losses in a duel and you go to the final matchup. When you first start out, your mini collection is really small, and it's actually really easy to make a deck that doesn't have enough elixir in it. But as your collection grows bigger, you might be tempted to include a bunch of 3 and 4 cost minis, but there's really not that huge benefit to doing so, because you'll actually never get more than 30 total elixir in a match. As you're building your deck, you'll actually see the total elixir count in the upper left hand corner, so just keep that in mind. And as a bonus tip, make sure you subscribe for more Clash Mini tips and tricks. This is my second channel, and I'm actually planning on creating a lot of Clash Mini content on it, but it costs a lot of money to pay an editor, and it takes a lot of time to make quality videos like this. Time I could spend on my main channel or with my family. So if you want more content on here, there are 3 easy things you can do to let YouTube know that they should share this video with others and actually help grow this channel. Number 1, comment below. It can be anything, but specifically you should tell me what you want in future videos, or ask questions about Clash Mini you want me to answer. Number 2, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future videos. And number 3, make sure you watch the entirety of every single video that I release. If things go well with this channel, I'm going to continue making content for it, so I really appreciate you guys' support. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and for now, this is KairosTime ticking by, and we will see you in Clash Mini.